Everyone, it's LS, and this is the League of Legends 1420 patch preview, and we're just going to get right into it. There's quite a lot of changes, but I'm not actually entirely sure of the substance. I saw a lot of comments on Twitter, obviously, below Fraction's tweet from various content creators and even pro players, coaches, etc. So let's just go into it. So Aphelios is going to get 20 HP base, and then passive bonus AD is going to go from 4.5 to 27 to 5 to 30. This isn't why we draft Aphelios. We don't draft Aphelios because he has less than an auto worth of damage and less than an auto worth of HP at all stages of the game. So yeah, we that is not what is making Aphelios not playable. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to remind people that obviously Aphelios exists. Now, the problem is that Aphelios just suffered indirect nerfs in the sense that his items all got hit. And so unless you end up going something like lethality Aphelios or something of that nature, yeah, you're just still going to have problems with Aphelios. But that doesn't mean that he can't be picked. I do think that he can still be picked, but yeah. Caitlyn, attack speed ratio 0.61 to 0.625. Q secondary damage is 50% to 60%. So I wonder how this affects her CSing. And so if this actually amplifies her ability to just clear the back wave, because that was actually a unique interaction with the old like collector Caitlyn. You would have the collector versus LDR like second argument. One of the unique things that Serrated Dirk once upon a time did that Last Whisper, as you were going longsword to longsword, wasn't able to do was the backline would get tapped by Q at level 9. And so I do ponder if the secondary damage is now allowing her to wave clear, because if it is, that is a nice little buff to Caitlyn, and it definitely can't be understated. Corki, Q mana is going to go from 80 to 60 to 80, so he's getting a lot of mana love back. W damage 150 to 450, 150% AP to 150 to 450, to 150% AP. He doesn't build AP, plus 150% bonus AD. E mana is going to go from 50 to 90 to 50 to 70. So he's getting mana buffs, so he has more mana in lane. I don't know if necessarily this makes it so that he doesn't need mirror mana. I think that he still wants to go mirror mana no matter what. His W now having an AD ratio, I don't think it really matters. It helps with some of his like lethals and laning phase, but other than that, it doesn't really do anything. Lee Sin base AD is going up by 3. This probably accelerates his clear speed ever so slightly. In terms of actual trade, it probably does over the course of like a really big 1v1 trade or something inside of the jungle. Probably gives him about half an auto in terms of damage when you consider his entire spell rotation, because it's all factored in. So with that being considered, it's like something, but like again, this isn't what's preventing Lee from being picked. Unfortunately, people will obviously overreact to changes like this. So Panthon, W percent max HP damage 5 to 7 to 6 to 8. So he's getting 1% of your max HP. So his W, even at like, you know, super early levels, it's doing anywhere from 6 to like 10 damage more. Okay, this is again nothing to write home about. Now, in the later stages of the game, yes, this number does go up to like 20 to 40 or something. So, you know, very nice. Absolutely fantastic. But realistically, nothing. It, again, has nothing to do with Pantheon's viability. Riven, Q damage 15 to 95 to 50 to 70% total AD to 45 to 165 to 65 to 85% bonus AD. So I just assume this is a buff at a certain threshold. Just in general, even 50%, you know, total AD. Well, I guess actually, no. So early on, so I guess at rank 1, this would probably be a nerf, or it's like very close. And then as she gets items, it's a buff. There's no way that this isn't just an outright buff. I think once she starts getting a lot of items, yeah, when she starts getting a lot of items, this is just a buff for her. Tryndamere, attack speed ratio 0.67 to 0.694. That's very big. And then armor growth 4.3 to 4.8. So in laning phase, we'll end up getting like 2 more armor. So again, very, very, very negligible throughout the, you know, entirety of it all. Now, if he's taking damage from like minions or something like that, and you're including this into the equation, maybe he's getting like 20 HP on his first reset. The attack speed ratio is obviously the biggest thing. Yasuo and Yone are both now getting Q increased crit damage on their Q, and then Yasuo is getting our bonus pen crit 50 to 60%. So they're just buffing Yasuo and Yone, because obviously they're the two most popular skin sellers. So, I mean, that's just the honest truth, I guess. Champion nerfs. So these ones are really weird. DrMundo E max HP into bonus AD is 2 to 3.4% to just 2 to 3. Won't affect his viability if you were like wanting to pick Mundo, but it doesn't do him any justice because obviously he's not being picked. And this is one of the problems with like Juggernauts. Just in general, right, is they run terrors in solo queue, and especially lower Mar, and then they get hit, and they're not actually competitively viable. Jhin, 80 growth, 4.7 to 4.4, our base damage, 64 to 244 to 64 to 192. Okay, he's getting tagged a little bit, and I guess this is just because of his pick presence, because realistically, Jhin is, like, he's in Jhin tier. Like, you're not happy when you pick Jhin. You don't necessarily feel bad when you pick Jhin. He's just, like, there. He's just Jhin. So, like, this sucks. It hurts him a little bit. I mean, he doesn't really feel it until, you know, mid-game, late game, whatever. And he just sort of, like, he's also been hurt because his items have been indirectly hit, too. It's just a really bad time for Jhin players. Mordekaiser, Q isolation damage 40 to 60 to 30 to 50. Random Mordekaiser nerf for no reason. Poppy, passive cooldown 13 to 7 to 16 to 8. Monster, Q cap 30 to 150 to 50 to 170. E-base damage 60 to 140 to 50 to 130. So Poppy just getting nerfed across the board. I think this is pretty understandable. She's so basically versatile, and because she's able to go so many different roles and stuff, hitting her inside of the jungle and then hitting her base damages obviously is, you know, something that you should do. Shyvanna, W movement speed AP ratio 12 to 10%, RE ground DPS 60 to 120 to 40 to 100, R damage AP ratio 130 to 80%. Okay, Shyvanna is dead. The AP Shyvanna variant is dead. I would absolutely say that. With everything that has happened, unless she's getting insane indirect buffs, I think her items are also getting hit. Well, they already have been hit. Her AP items have already been hit, and now she's getting this, and then she had the other previous AP nerfs. Yeah, Shyvanna's just not going to be viable, I don't think, anymore inside of the jungles, which is always really fun when Riot just decides that certain junglers are not going to be allowed. Singed, armor growth 4.7 to 4.2. Does feel really bad for Singed, especially for even proxy Singed. Skarner, passive max HP damage 5 to 11 to 5 to 9. E damage 30 to 150 plus 8% Skarner max HP. Passive damage is going down by 2% max HP. Okay. E damage, 30 to 150 plus 8% to 30 to 150 plus 6% of Skarner's max HP. So 2% of Skarner's max HP. Now, Skarner eventually has, like, you know, 2,000 HP in mid-game, and that's a little bit scary. So Skarner is losing a little bit of burst on his E, but again, he's going to be picked for other reasons. He's losing more damage, but I think that's totally fine, especially if he gets indirect buffs from items, which I think that he did get with some of the changes, and then also all the champions have been, like, hit. So Udyr, QQ monster bonus damage 20 to 15, E movement speed 30 to 65, 25 to 55%. RR monster damage is also going down. This is totally fine. Again, super broken champion. Veigar W AP ratio 70 to 110, 60 to 100%. So Veigar is going to be totally fine. I don't think that this actually affects his CSing. It is just, like, really funny that at one point in time, the W just, I think, used to be a flat 100, and then they ended up nerfing it several times over, and now it's this. So you do suffer even super early on, but yeah, I mean, it just feels weird. System buffs, Nimbus Cloak movement speed 12 to 35 to 14 to 40, very, very minor, mostly obviously for junglers, and I guess like Rumble and some other Ignite top laners that can take sorcery tree that, like, that want Nimbus Cloaks, I guess, secondary, unless they're, like, Airy main. The Collector, 3,400 to 2,950. Oh my god, I'm going to have to flame the item again. See, it was dead at 3,400. I never would have had to tweet or worry about it, but now that it's back to 2,950, I have to deal with all the people that can't do practicality and math. So it's a really unfortunate situation. The AD is going down by 10, so it is a really massive buff. But here's the thing: I mean, you're still just building Mortal Reminder. I mean, that's just where we're at, guys. We're still just building Mortal Reminder. Tal's Wildarrows is going to go down by 250 gold, which is very nice. 80 is only going down by 5, and the bleed is going down from 70 to 60. So I think that's actually a buff, all things considered. just because it becomes more affordable. Although, is it really a buff if you're not building this third? Maybe not. I think when you're talking about an item that's fourth and you're talking about 250 gold, remember that when you're talking about fourth items and cannons reach their maximum gold value at 1715 and then a cannon spawns every way every 25 minutes and you're talking about a fourth item, which typically starts occurring between 27 and 33 minutes, then you're actually only talking about one wave. So, and then also minions hit maximum movement speed at 25 minutes. They end up having 425 MS. So, you know, they're even going to be just as fast mostly as most champions in the game. So with that being said, if you're running to the wave, the wave's running at you, realistically, you're only slowed down by 25-30 seconds in game timer. So that's a weird thing. Yeah, maybe it's actually a nerf, all things considered. System nerfs. All right, Thronmail. Armor 80 to 75. Thorns 15 plus 15% bonus armor to 20 plus 10% bonus armor. So the flat part goes up. So if Thornmail is like basically your only armor item, then I guess this is kind of okay. But otherwise, yeah, it is just a nerf. Statik Shiv, attack speed 40% to 35%, just a random arbitrary nerf. Item, you know, continues to get a little bit worse. Grasp of the Undying heal, 3 plus 1.25 max percent HP to 1.3% max HP per stack, 7 out of 4 to 5 to 3. Okay. Definitely hurts Grasp overall as a rune. This also hurts Skarner. No, Skarner doesn't get, you know, a ton of Grasp procs, but in the solo queue game, he gets anywhere from 20 to 30, so he's missing more HP there in addition to the other nerf and whatnot. Rated Ashes, monster DPS is going down by 5. Liandrys Torment, monster DPS cap is going down by 10. Luden Companion, fire damage 60 plus 4% AP to 75 plus 5% AP. Repeat damage 50% to 20%. Max single target is going to go from 210 to 14% AP to 150 plus 10% AP. So that is a really big nerf for a lot of mages. A lot of mages are getting hit by that. Wow. That is crazy nerf. That is an absurd nerf. 4% AP and 60 flat off the single target. That is nuts. Storm Surge, AP going down by 5, squall damage 150, plus 15% AP to 125 plus 10. What are we doing? Is that the changes? System adjustments. Rune tooltips, cleaned up. What the hell is going on? So mage items continue to suck, by the way. Just in general, because again, the dependency on finishing the item. And when mage items get hit, and all the mage items got hit, actually Veigar V2 had a really interesting video that he just uploaded that went over how a lot of mage items just got hit recently. All mage items just got hit. Now everyone's items got hit, okay? Mages, unlike other classes, are more dependent on the completion of the item than other classes. If you take a look at most mage items, they are nowhere even remotely close to the actual item when you're building into it. Whereas the same can't be said for a lot of other items that other classes typically have, nor are other classes nearly as dependent on the completion of the item in order to get effectiveness in, you know, terms of value in the fights and whatnot, as a mages. So with all the items continuing to get nerfed, and with the items' powers continuing to get nerfed, it means that the follow-up items, not the recipes, the follow-up completion is now increasingly more important. So now getting that Void Staff, right? Getting the Shadow Flame, getting the Death Cap, which you don't even want to get anymore. And remember, Death Cap just got tagged as well. Getting all of these things become increasingly more important, and it's like a domino effect where it's not just that these items get nerfed. No. You also nerf the recipe items of the follow-up item because it feels that much worse while you're curving into the second item, because you're just missing so much power and you're waiting for that big completion. So it does just suck pretty much all across the board. All in all, 1420 really misses the mark. This just sucks to see. There's nothing really exciting here. Basically, all the champion buffs are kind of fake, with the exception being, like, I guess, Tryndamere and Caitlyn. Tryndamere and Caitlyn, I guess, are, like, real. Yasuo Yone, everyone's going to, you know, just complain about them anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The champion nerfs, there's a lot of random ones. Shyvanna is just killed for no reason. And then you have Skarner getting tagged really hard, Udyr getting tagged, Veigar just getting hit for whatever reason because they don't like Veigar V2, I don't know. And then you just have other random things going on here. So all in all, 1420, I would say, is kind of a failure patch. It does suck. Hopefully 1421 is better. And then, obviously, hopefully, we start getting insight into what is going on for Season 15. And then, now we do have some new champions on the way. So that is obviously something to be excited about. Arcane is going to be coming out soon, right? So Mel's mom is going to be on the horizon. You guys probably saw her splash thing in Wild Rift, but all in all, 1420, kind of just a bad patch. Everything just remains the same, guys. Everything remains the same way that it is right now. So here's to another 4 more weeks of just repetitiveness, and it sucks. So it is what it is. But new Kog'Maw build is actually really cool. And I'll leave you guys with that. And don't forget that all the socials, well, not yet quite Instagram, but TikTok, Patreon, everything are very active right now. And Patreon is actually being run by a team now. It's not just me. So that one's also very active. So there's like weekly Q&As. Crowny is going to be joining. And so there will be coaching sessions that Crowny will be uploading. You guys can get coaching from Crowny. And other types of stuff is going on there. And anyways, I'll see you for Worlds tomorrow. All right, bye-bye.